Hey guys, it's Milana here. Welcome back to my channel. I'm so stoked that you landed on this video. It's gonna be awesome and is totally gonna change your perspective on the way you look at the world and the way that you approach things that you want. Yeah, I'm gonna share a personal experience from my life that happened a few months back about this topic, and I'm also going to relate it to something that Dr. Joe Dispenza teaches about, specifically about manifesting and creating what's it called? A romantic partner. Like if you want a boyfriend or girlfriend, whatever, this is like tied into that. So before we talk about all that good stuff, I'm going to share a poem from my poetry book with you guys. I recently published a poetry book. It's called Pure Love, and it's available on Amazon for only $10. So I want to read a poem for you guys, and let's see. Okay, this one is on page 6, and it says, "Staring into your eyes had me falling through the skies. Suddenly I can see the history of the galaxies, from one life to the next, still the same soul inside. Having traveled far and wide, each fragment of color a portal to another magical place. Blue stardust glimmering all around. I'm so glad I can finally see the person looking back at me. Mirrors." So I actually wrote this poem about myself. I was doing mirror work a lot, and if you're not familiar with mirror work, it's where you sit in front of a mirror, like in pretty close proximity, and you just stare into your own eyes. And there's different exercises and different practices that you can do, but like one that I will do is literally just sitting there listening to like some beautiful meditation music, like literally just looking myself in the eyes. And it really gets you connected to your own soul. You know, they say the eyes are the window to the soul. And I had this experience where I was sitting there staring into my own eyes, and I was noticing all the different little like color variations. You know, if you look closely into your eyes, you'll see like lots of variations and maybe little specks and stuff. It's really beautiful. And while I was doing this, I kind of got lost in this trance, and I started having like visions of like my past lives in different places. And it was, I don't really know how to describe it, but the best way I understood it was that like all these different color variations and like spots and speckles on my eyes were each like written history from my past lives. Like each one contained a life, and like as I would look into it, I would see like these different places and lives that I've had, and it was very magical and like very mystical looking. It didn't look like this earth. So yeah, that's a poem from my poetry book. I hope you guys enjoyed that poem. Do you guys like hearing my poems? I've gotten some requests to share poems, but I don't know if everybody likes them. So comment below and let me know if you want me to keep reading you poems, or if you would rather me just like get straight into what I'm going to talk about. Okay, so what we're going to talk about today. So I had this experience, I think it was actually in January of 2023. I went to Sedona with one of my friends. And the reason I went to Sedona was because I had heard that it's a very spiritual place and people have like crazy mystical experiences. A lot of people have told stories about like seeing UFOs, interacting with aliens, and like getting miraculous healings and just like really crazy things happening. And I was feeling very pulled and drawn to go there. So I was like, okay, let's go to Sedona. Let's see what it has in store. And Sedona has these vortexes, which are basically like mountains. And supposedly they've measured the electromagnetic frequency of these mountains. And they have a very different electromagnetic frequency than like anywhere else on Earth, which creates a vortex. It's like an electromagnetic vortex. And so that's supposedly what causes all of these crazy interesting things. So I have heard a lot of stories through like reading and podcasts and even from people talking about like hiking up to these vortexes and then meeting a person up there who is like super spiritual, and they're like amazing channelers, and they'll channel like messages from your angels for you. They've like performed miraculous healings of like sending you energy and healing you, and like having psychic abilities. So when my friend and I were planning these hikes to like go hike these vortexes, of course I was thinking to myself, it would be so cool if like when we're at these vortexes, we meet some like crazy cool spiritual person who like channels or heals us or whatever. I don't know. Like, I think that would be amazing. And part of me, I remember there was like a tinge in my soul that was like, Milana, you don't need that. Like, you are so intuitive. You are so in tune with your spiritual gifts. Like, you literally don't need that. But of course, like the little kid in me was like, ooh, that would be so fun. That'd be so exciting. So we go and climb one of these vortexes, and we went way past like where most people stop because it gets kind of sketchy. Like, you are literally like climbing a mountain, and we didn't have any climbing gear, but my friend who I went with is very outdoorsy and like spends a lot of time hiking in the mountains and stuff. So I was like, okay, whatever. My friend has got this. I'll just follow in their footsteps. So we end up like almost to the top of this vortex, and we're like standing on this super cool rock. And when we're up there, this dude comes up, and he's like, he looks like he's in his 60s, and he's got long white hair, and like he's dressed like a spiritual person who you would imagine would be dressed with like, I don't know, like, I don't even remember exactly what he was wearing, but he looked very much like a hippie. And, you know, I'm in my workout clothes, like Lululemon, like pants, yoga pants, and like my sweatshirt and Nikes, whatever. So yeah, I was like, whoa, maybe this is going to be that like interesting spiritual person who like channels for me or something. And we end up talking to this guy, of course, and we're chatting for a little while. And he is very spiritual, but then at one point he looks right at me and he was like, do you have any messages for me? Is there anything coming through for you to share with me? And I was like, whoa, okay, let me see. And I kind of like silenced my mind, quieted my mind, and I started hearing these voices of messages from like his ancestors and family members who have passed away, and his spirit guides. And literally I could just like hear these voices that were not my own telling me things. And I just started sharing it with him. And as I was speaking to him, he started crying. And I was just like, whoa, I don't even know what's happening right now, but I'm just being like a vessel open to receive messages for this guy. And so I'm telling him these messages. He's crying, and he was like, wow, thank you so much for sharing that. Like, you're so right. I really needed to hear that. That's so crazy. And in that moment, I was like, I am the person that I wanted to meet, like, at a vortex. I am literally what I was looking for. I was that for someone else. I channeled for him. I brought this healing energy to him. And I was like, why do we ever look outside of ourselves for anything when we have everything within us, because we are part of Source. We are connected to the universe. And when you remember that, you tune into that energy, and you can literally be anything. Anything. And so I want to tie this back to something that Joe Dispenza says, and I think that other like spiritual leaders talk about this too. But I remember one time Joe was on a podcast being interviewed by someone, and someone asked him, like, Joe, like, if someone wanted to manifest like their dream relationship, their dream partner, what would you tell them to do? And Dr. Joe says, okay, so you're going to pull out a piece of paper and a pen, pencil, whatever, and you're going to write a list, a detailed list of everything that you want this person to have, like all their qualities, like what are their values, what do they do, whatever. And then you're going to look at that list, and then you're going to become that list. All those qualities, all those things that you're looking for in someone else, become it. Be that person. Because the reason we're like, oh, I want a person who is super loving and gives a lot of compliments and is generous and grateful and makes a certain amount of money and like spends quality time with me and all that stuff. It's like, why don't you go be that? Go give that to yourself. Go be so loving to yourself. Give yourself quality time. Go make that amount of money. Become the person that you want to attract in your life. And there's a couple of interesting things that happen when you do this. Number one, whatever. Sometimes I don't know if I should use letters or numbers when I'm going on a list, but whatever. Okay, number one, what happens is, and in the beginning you might be like, crap, I can't be all of that. Well, yes, you can. You can be anything. Okay, so we'll just get that out of the way. And then, so one, what happens is when you become that list, you stop feeling so needy. You're not like, oh, I need a relationship of like with a person who has all these qualities. Like I need them to make up for something that I am lacking, make up for something that I am not. Well, guess what? You're already whole and complete on your own. You don't need anyone to fix you or to complete you. You're already a whole person. You are whole and complete. And when you become all those things that you're searching for, you really feel that wholeness and that completeness. So that's a wonderful thing in itself. The other thing that happens is now you are so worthy to receive a person who is a match for what you're looking for. Because, like, think about it. Say, like, someone is barely scraping by, they don't love themselves, they don't like their work or their career, they're just not living a high vibrational life at all. And they want someone who is. They're like, I want someone who's, like, beautiful and smart and successful and loving and caring and all these things. It's like you're looking for that person to make up for something that you don't have, and that person is honestly not going to be a vibrational match to you. You're not going to feel worthy of actually being with that person and having a relationship with that person. That person isn't going to be attracted to you most likely because they're looking for someone on their own level of vibration, someone who is going to inspire and uplift them too. So you then ascend to the level of the type of person that you want to date and that you want to be in a relationship with. And because of the law of vibration, things that aren't a vibrational match will either A, not ever really get together, or B, they won't last long. They're going to fall apart because everything and everyone wants to be and naturally seeks other people, places, things, circumstances that match their vibration. So that is my take on the fact that you have everything you need within you, and anything that you are searching for outside of yourself, bring your awareness to recognizing it and finding it within yourself, because it is there. It's just a matter of bringing your attention to it and becoming aware of it. You know, if you never, ever looked in a mirror and you never saw another person, you might not have any idea that you have a nose. Because, like you're watching this video right now, you can't see your own nose. It's right there in the middle of your face. But if you're not aware of it, it doesn't exist for you. And everything in the universe is like this. You have to become aware of things to know that they even exist and know that it can exist for you. And there's so many things out there like this, you know, your wealth, your health, your happiness, your relationships, your career, your impact on other people. All of it is there. You might not be awake to it in this moment yet, but it is there. There is such a big life out there waiting for you to wake up to it and to go live it. So it's all within you. I promise. I'm sending you so much love, and I can't wait to see you at my next video.